It's not looking good out there, guys. It's not looking good for Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. This crap is crazy out here, guys. It's not looking good at all, man. No, 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 but we're going to talk about it right now. Hey, everybody. Hope you guys are all having a fantastic day. I don't know what the hell they put in my coffee, but this crap has me blinging all over the place. But you know what's not blinging all over the place? Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. The movie's not doing very well at all, guys. Financially, the movie's just not doing well, and this is not really looking well for comic book films in general, if I'm going to be honest with you. Other than Spider-Man No Way Home, these comic book films just aren't hitting the way they used to. So I'm going to pull up the numbers right now for Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania, and it's sitting at 420 worldwide going into its third week. We are now in its third week right now, and it did get beat out by Creed. Creed coming in with 58 million this past weekend, or was it 58 million? I think it was. Yeah, 58 million right here, and Ant-Man going down to 12 million, dropping another 60%. That's not really good. Right, that's not really good. So right now it's at 420 worldwide, and we compare that to the second movie, Ant-Man and the Wasp, which tapped out at 622 worldwide. And the reason why this is not good, because this number is just going to get smaller. This number is, well, I mean, technically this number is going to get bigger, but this number right here is going to get smaller, because now you're getting into some competition, right? We had Creed 3 come out this week, and although it's basically different audiences for the most part, it still takes away from the overall income that the movie's going to be getting, because it's still competition regardless of how much, at the end of the day, regardless of the demographic and whatnot, it's still going to take away some of that box office. We have Scream 6 coming out this weekend, and then the week after that, we have Shazam 2, which I don't think Shazam 2 is going to do very well either, but then it's competing in the same market as something like Ant-Man. So this isn't really good for me. Like, personally, I don't think this is really good. Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania costs $200 million to make. Plus, that's not accounting marketing. So $200 million to make plus marketing, and the movie already only made 420. So it needs to make at least 600 in order to break even. That is what the second movie did, and another reason why this isn't really a good news, right? The one reason why this isn't really good news is this was the movie that was setting up Phase 5. You know, for the past couple of years, we're sitting around here twiddling our thumbs, whoop, 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 and we're like, man, like, what's the plan? What's going on? Like when are they gonna set some crap up? And they finally set it up in this movie, and it's not doing financially well, right? And I think Marvel, for a lot of, like, I don't know if by the end of Endgame, people just kind of checked out, like, okay, we have our conclusion. People are checking out. But I also think it's the quality of the films that we're getting, right? If we would have had an Iron Man 4 after Endgame or a Captain America 4 after Endgame, it would have been different. Whereas they gave us Black Widow, which was like at least 6 years overdue. Then we were given like stuff like Shang-Chi that no one knew who he was. The Eternals, no one knew who he was. And then the movies that they did produce, like Thor: Love and Thunder, were not good films. Right, so we had like a series of mediocre films, mediocre, Disney Plus series, and at this point, it's really tainting the brand. And they were giving us so much properties that we were like, man, why are we gonna go support this stuff when we could just wait for Disney Plus? I've talked to people on the streets. I have talked to people who are fans of these properties, and like, we're just gonna wait for Disney Plus. Why are we gonna rush out to see this when I can just catch up on everything on Disney Plus? People who wanted to see Black Panther: Wakanda Forever waited for Disney Plus. Wakanda Forever was a movie that I really, really enjoyed, but there was a lot of negative backlash surrounding that movie. A lot of people weren't happy with some of the choices that Ryan Coogler and Marvel Studios made with that movie. And it really affected the overall box office of the film. There are people that I talk to, non-white people. I'm talking about, that's right, guys, brown skin, black people. I have talked to black people. I'm like, have you seen Wakanda Forever? And they're like, no, I'll wait for Disney Plus. I'm not really feeling this movie. Chadwick Boseman not in it. There are people that feel that way. So when you look at the landscape of the MCU and you're looking at how these numbers are, this is a franchise that used to average $1 billion per film. And now the only movie to do so was Spider-Man No Way Home with Doctor Strange Into the Multiverse, or Multiverse of Madness, whatever the crap that name of that movie was. Multiverse of Madness, which really wasn't all that maddening, to be honest with you. That came close to hitting $1 billion. But other than that, it has been like a drastic decline, right? And if anybody knows anything, right, like if you guys are YouTube creators and you're looking at your analytics and you're like, man, I just did this video, I spent 2 days editing this video. The analytics on this thing is horrible, right? My arrows are pointing downwards. I'm not getting the views that I want. What do? You need to switch up the next video. You want to do content on whatever your analytics is pointing up. And right now, the analytics for the MCU is just pointing downwards. Other than Spider-Man, which Spider-Man has always been a bangable franchise, regardless of what you think about, like Spider-Man 3. Spider-Man 3 made money. The Amazing Spider-Man movies made money. That wasn't the reason why those movies did not succeed going forward. Spider-Man 4 didn't happen for a certain other reason. It had nothing to do with money. Amazing Spider-Man 3 didn't happen, not because of money, because of the Sony email leaks and all that stuff. So Spider-Man has always been a liable franchise. So take Spider-Man out, the MCU is not doing very good right now. And that's sad. That's sad because there's several different reasons why they're not doing good. And a lot of people can point out to different things like, oh, go woke, go broke, or other stuff like that. And I think it's a lot of different things. I think, one, introducing characters that no one really cares about, characters like Shang-Chi, the Eternals, people really do not care about those characters, right? It's one thing to where you have established characters and then you pepper them in. I mean, we didn't just start off with a Black Panther movie. No, you introduced T'Challa in Civil War, one of the biggest movies in phase 3, right? One of the biggest movies in the MCU. You introduce T'Challa, you get people used to this character, and then look what happened, right? You just throw us into a Shang-Chi movie and expect fans to just go out and support this movie. You just throw us into this Eternal movie, right? How many phases have we been in? We never even heard about these Eternals, and then boom, we have the Eternals, right? And not to mention, things aren't adding up where we got like freaking Celestials' hands hanging up out of the core of Earth, and nobody's really paying attention to. And when you look at the dominoes falling, it doesn't look good when it comes to movies like Ant-Man, where this movie is setting up the whole premise of your next Avengers movie. And that is not a good sign at the end of the day, is you need to be able to establish these characters and have people care about them. And right now, you're making too many small mistakes. And when too many small mistakes are made, it eventually creates a big problem, right? You had Avengers Endgame, it was the cap off of everything, and then you move into with things that didn't need to be in there, right? As much as we wanted a Black Widow movie, we wanted that in like phase 2, right? I wanted a Black Widow Hawkeye movie, like back in phase 2. You waited until after the character is dead to give us that movie. You established a bunch of characters that no one ever even heard of, and we're supposed to suspect that these people have been around forever, right? It's a problem. And when you start making a lot of little mistakes, that's when you run into a really big problem. Now, Ant-Man 3, Ant-Man Quantumania, I didn't hate the movie. I thought it was a major step up from the second film. But at the end of the day, you're looking at audiences who never really kind of like connected with the Ant-Man movies. They were never major blockbusters anyway. The first movie only making around $400 million. The second movie bringing in $600 million, with the third movie now at over $400 million. So these were never giant blockbuster films to begin with. And now you're setting up your main universe through an Ant-Man movie, which is supposed to be your smaller independent type film, your smaller stories. So that is the problem that we're leaning into right now. Marvel is in a massive decline, but I'm expecting Shazam to also not do very well. Look at Black Adam, right? The Rock promoted the crap out of that movie, but no one went to go see it, right? So Ant-Man didn't, financially struggle as much as Black Adam did, but at the same time, we expect more because it's Marvel. And this is not looking good. And we can talk about bad writing. We can talk about bad characters. We can talk about, adding social politics into our movies. We can add all that and talk about that. But the fact of the matter is, if the movie was good, we wouldn't be talking about any of that, right? Movies have always had social commentary within them, right? But if the movies are good, we ignore those things. But when the movies are bad and the movies aren't making money, they stand out much, much more. But that's just my thoughts on it, guys. I want to know what you guys think. Be sure to leave your comments in the comment box below. Please, let's have a nice, calm discussion. How do you feel about Ant-Man Quantumania not doing financially well? Could actually end up losing money when everything is all said and done. Leave those comments in the comment box below. Smash that like and subscribe button. And until next time, as always, I am Robert Storms, and that's my opinion.